All right, first thing we got is some road and bridge minutes from October 15th of this year.
I move we approve those minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, thank you. All right. I think we'll let Deb talk first before we jump into our regular agenda, so you can either stay for the rest of the meeting or you can jump out of here once you're done with your business.
Yeah, I just, I think last time when we talked, I took on the responsibility of representing my subdivision, which is the Granite Hills. It's the smaller subdivision, kind of a mile down Corbin Road, so not the larger subdivisions above us.
Meadowlark, yeah.
Meadowlark and Sentinel Ridge and those guys. So, obviously we're right on Corbin, so it impacts us a little bit more,
For sure.
than Meadowlark and those other upper subdivisions. So, I mean, today I'm kind of just looking for an update on, where things stand. I guess, obviously I sent Corey, kind of, I went out to the roads in Livingston. And again, my, non-civil engineer opinion is, they look about like Corbin does now. Except the ones that are in a small subdivision that obviously don't have much traffic, they look better. But even those, you can see where people are stopping and starting at their driveways or at a stop sign. The road already has kind of washboards, right? So, I didn't get a feeling that the dust pods product on those roads were waiting kind of like a hard surface road. So you have the pictures I took and
Yep.
all of this, that good stuff. So, yeah, so I'm mostly here to understand what the plan is. Obviously, we're still very unhappy with that road surface. Us personally, our house is right on Corbin, and I can tell you the dust, the dirt, is pretty extensive. I took a video of following someone on the road, so it's just like a dirt road at this point, which is a pretty significant downgrade from a chip seal road. The only other thing is I, kind of went out to the website and found the road standards document out there, and it looks like, at least for subdivisions, with daily traffic of 400 or greater, which I don't know if you've measured what's on Corbin Road, but I would guess it's 400 or greater in a day. Double chip seal, minimum of 6 inches of compacted asphalt milling with a chip seal, or a minimum of 3 inches of asphalt paving. I think that's what you guys hold the subdivisions to that put roads in. I know our subdivision was held to that standard, and we have a RID to maintain a chip sealed surface on a short road
Mhm.
that literally has 6 houses on it. So,
Yep. So we were up there the other day and did a test run on trying to get that worst part of it smoothed out. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did, we saw you doing the work there.
So we're kind of taking it a little bites at a time, trying to figure out if this is gonna work or not. That's essentially the answer I've got for you. I think that, I haven't been up to look, actually I did go up there right after they did it, and it looked okay, it looked a little better, but it still was loose and like a gravel road, so.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, Bear, we're gonna try to get it to where it's supposed to be. I mean, if it doesn't get to where it's supposed to be, we're gonna have to deal with it. In my opinion, I can't speak for these guys. We're gonna have to figure out something else. The dust pods gentleman has lots of other ideas that we can go above and beyond just what we're doing now to seal it, whatever. He said, we can make it right, and just how much money you wanna spend on it, so we're gonna have to calculate on, can we seal it with something less expensive than it chip sealing it, or, what are we gonna have to do? So I think we're just gonna stage up to get it to where it's a road that we can all live with. We know it's a heavy traveled road, and when we first jumped into this, in my mind, it was gonna be a hard surface, just as good or better than the chip seal, and obviously it hasn't owned up to that yet, so. But again, asking just for some patience and letting us experiment. It's gotta be you guys that we're experimenting on, but it's actually the perfect road for high traffic. Gravel road that we can figure out if this is gonna work on, obviously your road and other roads throughout the county, so.
I mean, the other concern, just, and this is just my personal experience, is that material, which, again, I think there's still some concern about the actual chemical composition of the material. So it would be great to get that, to understand that it is all safe.
Yeah.
Is that when you get it on your vehicle, or you get it on your shoes, or anything else, it is difficult to get off.
Right.
So like our hot tub cover has a 1/4 inch of that material on it, and we can't get it off.
Really?
So I don't know, like I said, I don't know the chemical composition of it, so I don't know if there's something we can use on it, but now it's, you know, on our hot tub cover, it's on our cement patio in the back. And we just don't know how to even get it off.
Well, that's a question we can ask for sure.
Right, so, and same, I've heard comments and I've our cars to the car wash, and again, it's like trying to chip off. You know, which,
Glue or something.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't wash off with soap and water. So again, I'm just a little concerned that, you know, and I'm conscious of the budget. We got the county budget.
Mhm.
And we reviewed that, and I totally sympathize with the county's, you know, challenges from a budget perspective. So again, it's concerning it would be great for the Dust Pods folks to be able to show us a road that actually looks like what everyone believes they are saying we would get to. I didn't see it in Park County.
Mhm.
I don't know if in Bighorn County, which is the other county that, you know, supposedly there's a road or two, if that, but I'm just wondering if we're throwing good money after bad at this point as well.
Yeah. Definitely good concerns. I'm actually working with one of the other subdivision people up there in Meadowlark, and he's looking at other avenues for funding as well. So there's lots of things going on in the works. So we're not just leaving it and dropping it. We're on our end trying to fix what we've got there and see if it's actually gonna work. And then we've got somebody else that's working on maybe funding for whatever we can find, whether we have to re-chip seal it or whatever we've gotta do, so.
Okay.
As far as the safety of it, I mean, I didn't realize as we're getting on your stuff at your house and making a mess there, but we can talk to Dust Pods, but I think it's supposedly water's supposed to be able to just cut it, but I could be wrong.
So
I'm assuming you've tried just watering it
Yeah.
out and letting it soak.
We've tried water, we've tried soap and water, we've tried scrubbing it off. And
It's
it
just
just
solid.
doesn't come off.
Okay. We can
Um,
ask him if there's something that cuts that stuff. I have no idea. But the actual safety of it, once it binds to the material, it's pretty much inert. The MSDS states that it's unsafe for fish, and I talked to the Dust Pods guy, and he said that's because of viscosity, not because of toxicity. So if you put enough in the water and it takes the place of the oxygen in the water, it'll drown them. That's essentially it's not that it kills them because of
Yeah.
poison.
Mhm.
It's just because of viscosity, so.
Because they can't swim in it.
And they
Right.
can't swim, they can't breathe in it, that's the nature of the beast, but that would be a huge amount pouring, you know, like if we.
Yeah, I
accidentally
assumed it
spill-
was from a disposal perspective on their
Right.
safety sheet. that,
Yeah.
You know, if you had a bunch of them, you could, you know, want to make sure you didn't dump them in something that was going to get into a waterway.
Yeah, and he said even the little packets we put into our, I don't know how big our tanks are, they're several thousand gallons, even that. Makes it so mixed up that it's really not toxic after that to even the fish. If we dumped it in the creek, it would be so diluted that it wouldn't even affect the fish after we did that. It would be like if you took a big bag of the powder and dumped it in the creek, that's when you would have problems. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I'm not the person who brought up the, whatever PO2 that she said was part of this product. But it would be great, right? I think it would certainly allay us that are, you know, less than 100 yards from that road,
Sure.
to know the chemical composition of the product. And I've asked a couple of times of the company, and they've been unwilling to provide it, so that also concerns me.
Yeah. Well, the MSDS is made to make the people aware of what, if it's safe
Yeah.
or not safe, so.
Right.
I mean, that's the federal government, that's not dust pods making that.
No,
That
I totally
MSDS,
get it, and
yeah.
I work for companies that have to fill those out, the
Right.
company just has to fill those out.
But for them to give you the chemical composition of the material that they're making, it's gonna be kind of,
I know, they have a patent pending,
Right.
which is fine,
Yeah.
but without that, again, I work for companies that have to fill out those safety sheets. The company is just filling out the safety sheet. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to provide any lab results. They don't have to do anything. They just
I
fill it
wasn't
out.
aware of that. I figured if it's an MSDS, it's a federal thing, you
It's a
gotta
federal
know
thing
what's
to
in there.
fill out a form.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know.
So, without knowing, without anything, and like I said, this looks like a relatively early stage company. They don't have a whole lot out there. So it's perfectly within our rights to ask them for the chemical composition of a product that they're selling us.
Mhm.
But they seem a little unwilling to provide it in my attempts to get, they sent me the safety sheet.
Right,
They won't give me anything else,
okay.
so that even raises more concern.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not sure, so I can ask, our representative about that and see if he can give me a good answer why they won't release that. I'm assuming it's so they don't get people copying what they're doing.
I can assure them, I don't think you guys are gonna copy what they're doing, I don't think anyone else is going to copy what they're doing. I think if they released it to you, you're a government entity, you're not gonna go and start a business.
Yeah,
Right? So it seems
No.
like that would be relatively.
But if we bring it to a meeting, it does become public record.
It does, but they can release it to you just individually.
Talking to Wayne yesterday, he is more than happy to answer any phone calls and questions directly. Says feel free to give out his phone number and you can call him directly. So
and he's the
president.
president of the company, so he's more than willing to talk to you personally. I don't know if you talked to him yet, but we can surely give you his phone number.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great to have his phone number, and then, like I said, there were others that raised the concern about feeling like they knew what chemicals were in there. I'm just at the point where I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, someone, raised that they feel is the same product, just under a different name, that there is a court case in California against that company for hazardous issues for causing cancer fundamentally. I don't know if it's the same product. It's not the same company.
Right.
These guys are relatively new and 2024 new.
Of course, California's a different world too.
Yeah,
Everything causes cancer in California.
Yeah. And totally, that's what I'm saying. It just would be good to know,
Yeah.
not making any judgment at all, but
Right.
obviously there's some people that are thinking it's got some.
People are looking, yeah.
Sure.
About.
And you can find anything you want on the internet. I mean, whatever you want to
Yeah.
find on there, you can find it. I mean,
Yep.
one way or the other, so.
Yep. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys are still working on it. I guess the one other piece of feedback is the section of the road that you did rework was better for a couple days.
Mhm.
Now it's not.
No, it's
Less,
back.
less dust, you mean, or
Not less dust, but it was smoother.
smoother.
Le-
Less,
to-
less,
to- But
less,
not less dust. I mean, there's just,
Less gravel, huh?
there are just piles of gravel and dirt on the road. I mean, it just doesn't seem to be binding that
Mhm.
stuff down.
you know, oftentimes as I sit and watch traffic, I don't see a lot of dust come up behind vehicles, I don't, no.
I tried to get some video off of my cameras on the truck yesterday and I couldn't get them to download right, but I drove that that road 10 times yesterday and was unable to get any dust at any speed. But I couldn't get the camera to download to show it. There is no washboarding. There's a little bit of loose gravel on the road, which we had with the first run as well. There's no scientific way to get everything to stick right on the very top half inch or inch of layer. You're always gonna have a little bit of loose fines and gravel. And once that blows off, it's gone. The road surface is so hard that when we were trying to cut it last week, it was heating up the carbide bits on our blades to the point where it was smoking, it was burning them up. 'Cause it's
Smoking the metal.
Smoking the carbide, which is harder than steel. So the road itself is harder than rock. That we could barely cut through it with that machine, taking half an inch at a time, trying to get through it. So it's just trying to get that top layer to hold to a point where it's of a suitable driving surface. But the road itself is solid.
So that's one thing of good news is we got a solid base
Yeah, I
to
guess,
work with.
I mean,
Well, we
I
wouldn't be
do
able
have
to
a
do any
video
other
of me
improvements.
driving the
without-
road this morning,
Mhm.
if you guys wanna look at it. I can also get you, lots of video of the desk.
Sure.
Because my back porch overlooks the road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe what you guys are seeing and what I am experiencing is just completely different, but I'm happy to let you guys watch the video.
You got a bunch of dust this morning?
Dust and just really, really rough road. I mean, I don't see where it's a solid surface road. You may have spots where it is solid,
Mhm.
but it's spots.
Right.
And I think that's the problem with it. I'm also a little bit curious about when you make the curve right at the transfer station. The road there is completely different
Mhm.
than the rest of the road. Was
Right.
that left chip sealed?
No, that was asphalt.
Okay,
It was originally asphalt millings. It wasn't a chip seal
Okay.
to that point.
because obviously that road would be an acceptable
Right,
service.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's nice stuff, yeah.
You know. But anyway, I'm happy to send you guys a video of what it's like to drive at 35 miles an hour down that road.
Yeah. I know Bob drives it often, Bear drives it almost every day, probably. I try to get up there at least once a week when I'm going to a meeting or something, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm happy to take video of the dust that's kicked up,
Sure.
especially the people that go 65 miles an hour
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
people, those
true.
people do
Um,
pick up some
You
dust.
know, but there's, it's less, the slow, I mean, you guys have driven dirt roads. I mean,
Right.
if the slower people drive, the less dust there is. But,
Right. Yep. So
Okay.
yeah, we're working on it and keep us posted if you have any other issues and we'll get you Wayne's number anyway and we'll
Okay.
hopefully get something that'll help you cut that stuff off your property at your house there.
yeah,
know
I
what-
mean, spent $15,000 on a back patio that now has something on it we can't seem to get off.
Sure, okay.
Good.
All right, is there anybody on Zoom today that would like to talk about Corbin Road? Any of you folks wanna bring forth anything to the commission? And we've got a phone number up there. I'm not sure who that is, the 7064. If you can identify yourself for our meeting minutes, that would be awesome. No,
No?
nope.
It's Roy Simonton, Roy Simonton, Meadowlark
Roy.
subdivision.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there's nothing else on Corbin Road, we will work down through the rest of our agenda. Thanks for being here, Deb, appreciate it.
Thank you, Deb.
We'll get you Wayne's number, so you
Okay.
can communicate directly with him, and if you have any issues or not getting what you want, let us know.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, moving down the list, so Arrowroot Road, which is up near the county line connects from
Lewis and Clark, yeah.
Martinez Gulch at the end of the subdivision over to the county line where it ties into Lime Kiln on Jefferson County or Lewis Clark side. We've had a few of the residents up there reach out through the summer questioning whether it was public or private. Ladena did some research, looked at all the surveys, and there's nothing indicating any kind of public easement or right of way. It's, as far as we're concerned, it's private. So now there's some private road signs up there. So we're getting blowback from people passing through from the different county sides back and forth. Just so that you're aware of it, everything we see is private. There's nothing showing it is public. It's definitely not county. I wouldn't be surprised to see a gate on it in the very near future because the residents are not happy with people speeding through next to their homes. whatnot, but just so you're aware of what's going on up there.
Martinez, did you say?
But connects at the end of Martinez.
The end
where
of
the-
Martinez.
Yeah.
There's not much of it in Jefferson County. Most of
Well,
it's
all
in
of
Lewis
it,
and Clark.
it's
isn't it?
kind of, I think most of it's in ours, but.
Is it? Oh, okay. but
Because it
it's-
connects over near the county line. You're,
Right there, Corey, straight up.
No,
There's Eddie
you're-
McClure.
yeah, you're right there at it. So where it makes that, no, so that's Martinez Gulch.
Okay, this is Martinez, okay.
Well, where your cursor's at is arrowroot. So,
All from here up.
yeah, from, I believe it's right here at this driveway is where Martinez ends, and it turns from asphalt to gravel. And then it's arrowroot all the way around to where it ties into South Hills and Lime Kiln Road.
That's a county line right there, I think,
that's
yeah.
That's probably the county line where
Yeah.
the power line is.
Yeah. So that area there is where that ends, but there's quite a few people living up there now. There's a few homes, newer homes right along the road, and they're not happy with people coming by their house at 30, 50 miles an hour, and it's not a wide enough road for those speeds.
I think the kids party up there nice, and, yeah,
Yeah, they have issues with that as well.
yeah.
So, I know there's a lot of people that are concerned because of where that Eddie McClure trailhead comes out at, is on that road. So,
Yeah.
but we have no documentation proof saying anything other than private road. So, just wanted to put it on your radar, because I'm sure you're probably gonna get some phone calls about it. But we've told them we've got no jurisdiction or legal standing on the road other than what our records show. So. The next item, Boulder Cutoff Bridge, we get about every 6 months phone calls wondering where we're at on that. People think we need to go build this nice big superhighway bridge. I just reached out to Kathy Thompson again to get an update on where we're at on the replacement grant. Hopefully we can get an answer on that so we can decide whether we're gonna move forward with the rapid repair or keep waiting. I know they haven't started awarding any of those yet. I just don't know what the status is yet. So hopefully I'll get an email back from her before the end of the week and we can have a better idea.
Do we risk the chance of losing our repair money if we wait too
That
long?
was the second part of my question.
Okay,
Yeah, was what's our time frame on that? Cause the last conversation I had with her, they're kind of looking for more rapid repair projects because they've got surplus, not really surplus, but they've got some money left in that phase of the grant. But they're still working through the replacement bridge process, and that I'm not sure where they're at on that as of a couple weeks ago. So.
What was their repair on this decking?
Yeah, so it basically replace all the deck with treated timbers, bigger timbers. We would have to replace and upgrade the guardrail, actually put a guardrail on it because the rail on it now is basically some 2-inch flat bar, steel strap. New runners as well, and then a curb edge, just a wood block curb edge to prevent traffic from getting too close to the edge. The issue with the bridge isn't necessarily the condition of it, it's because the crossboard timbers stick out too far past the last girder for it to be weight rated. So if it was about a foot narrower, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, really?
But because if a heavy load was to get off of the horizontal runners, the tire track
One
runners
side
get
or
to
the
one
other.
side, it would put them on that edge where the edge can't be weight rated.
don't do a chainsaw?
Yeah, so the easiest way to fix it is, it needs to be redone. The timbers, most of them aren't even screwed down. They're just laid across the bridge. And they're just like a 2x12 plank. So we would put a treated heavy duty timbers. I can't remember the exact size dimensions. That's the cross beams, and then put new deck runners on it. And then put a curb block along the edge with an actual W rail guardrail to make it safer. What's there now, I wouldn't even lean against it. So that's the biggest issue with the bridge is the rail, but.
Good.
So. But we just need to know, we don't want to spend the money twice if we're gonna get the second grant.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
As far as crew updates, the guys up north doing a little bit of spot grading as we're getting a couple calls here and there, just noticing stuff when we're out and about that needs to be touched up before winter. Doing a bunch of culvert cleaning, especially up in the Forest Park, Blue Sky subdivision areas. We're still finding culverts that we never even knew existed that have been buried for a decade. Getting those cleaned out and flowing again. And we're hauling road mix that, I don't know what happened, but all that road mix we bought from Valley out on the other end of McClellan. Originally, we were supposed to be able to store it there. Now they want it moved because they're opening up another section of the pit and it's in their way. So we're trucking that over to our yard. Not a big deal. We still saved a ton of money. We paid about half of what anybody else was charging us for gravel. It's just the fact that we have to do
A
it.
little extra trucking.
Yeah. But we should be done with that, hopefully by the end of the week, depending on guys getting sick and taking time off. Boulder guys, I had most of the crew from Boulder, Whitehall, and even a couple from Whitehall down, or from Montana City down, and got the whitetail graded last week, from start to finish. You can definitely see how bad of an impact the hunters over the weekend had on the road.
Yeah.
Cause you can barely tell we were there yesterday. Friday, that was a beautiful road from one end to the other. Yesterday, it was a little rough.
Sunday was probably.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's probably the way it's going to be for the winter, because we just don't have the time to blade another dry gravel road.
Keep degrading it, keep grading it.
Yeah. So they're working on a bunch of pothole repairs in both Whitehall and Boulder area with the patcher. We're hoping we got a couple more days left of decent enough weather to get the patcher out again tomorrow. Just a couple items for informational. We had talked a while ago about a super fund coming to the Bullion and Crystal Mines up Jack Creek area or Jack Mountain area. I thought they were planning on starting stuff on that this year. Never heard anything from them. I finally got a phone call from EPA yesterday. They're moving forward with the project. They're going to do some initial road improvements next year. But it's basically just taking a grader or a dozer up and making it kind of flat and easy access for pickups. And then in the summer of 2026 is when the actual project and road reconstruction will take place. They're going to be improving all the roads basically from the Jack Mountain turn off of Basin Creek all the way up into the mines. So we'll be putting in a bunch of culverts and getting some road widening and get working on that project.
Do they tell you who the contractor's gonna be? Or?
I did not get that name, so he's gonna send me an email here. He said probably this week or next week. That's got a bunch of information with kind of the complete overview of the whole project, and they'll keep us in the loop through the process.
Cool.
So we talked a couple weeks ago, or a few times. We've had I don't know what the actual company name is, but the filming crews for Yellowstone in 1923, whatever the show is called, have been doing some filming in the area. Did some down on KG Ranch last week, and they were very thankful of letting them do that for their new show. They've got some more filming they want to do on the Whitetail Road, portion between the turn from Little Boulder to Hot Springs Road here on the Boulder side.
Interesting.
They were hoping to. He just sent me an email for a request to potentially close that for a day or two next weekend, the 7th through the 9th. I emailed him for some better details as far as if it was going to be kind of an around the clock closure or if it was going to be certain hours of the day, and I haven't heard back. Sounds like there's some potential for some funding to the county for some materials through some of this. They're working on some compensation for hardships, I guess is what they call it. But they've already talked to MDT, and MDT was in support of it being an MDT route, but they wanted to defer to the county for the final decision. I did tell them that we would not, or we would still need access for emergency vehicles if there was an ambulance or something that needed to get through there to let them through. There is a pretty good detour just sending them down past Hot Springs and back out to 69. So it's not going to be a major hardship, just a minor inconvenience, but just wanted to make sure if there was any real concern about approving that, if they decided to move forward with it.
No, that's a pretty easy detour there.
It's on a weekend though, you say?
It'd be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It'd be shut down.
Yeah, and I did let them know that it is hunting season, so they may have some upset individuals, but it's a very short detour. People shouldn't. have that much heartburn over it. And that's a good road going around, so it's not like they're having to truck through a non-maintained road to get around.
Would they be responsible for the road signs and all that, or?
Yeah, they handle all their own traffic
They do.
control, yeah. I know that with the last one, I don't know if they ended up using them, but they've talked to Sheriff Grimsrud and Bruce Minkowski about having the sheriff's department helping with that. They get paid wages for overtime, for any kind of assistance through that. So they've been working with both Tom and Bruce. They were talking also about staging out of the fairgrounds, but I'm sure Bruce is handling all that with them as well. And this is for a new show. It's not for one of their existing shows, so that's hasn't even been released yet. Apparently, Mr. Sheridan really likes the Jefferson County area because this will be the third or fourth show he's filmed up here. So,
Nice.
yeah. And then just kind of a quick update on the McCarty Creek project. We did have a site visit with the Elkhorn Working Group and Citizens for Balanced Use. And representative from the Forest Service there last week on Tuesday. They made me walk the road.
Again.
Apparently, guys don't know what the drive is, but
That's quite a big.
yeah, it was good. We needed to get out and stretch the legs, but they're very happy and pleased with the way the fence turned out. We had quite a bit of money. The bid from Wardman's was substantially cheaper than the original bid they had got for the grant. So we were able to get some additional supplies from Wortman to have replacement materials. So if the fence is damaged for any reason, we can go in and fix it without having to buy replacement materials. They're also going to provide us with some jackleg fencing materials to go help block right there where the back culvert is to kind of keep people from going around the culvert into that riparian area there. And potentially we might get enough to do just past the first cattle guard. Eddie McCauley's got a bunch of rocks stacked there because people like to drive out into his property there. Might be able to put some fencing in there to help curb that issue as well. As well as some other areas. It was substantially cheaper in the bid by about 10 grand. So
Wow.
there's a lot of material we can get to do some side projects with the fencing. We've got the culverts sitting at the yard. So when we get time, we're going to go work on putting in culverts on the lower section or the middle section. I don't know which one we call it. Doing some drainage improvements there before the ground freezes. We're kind of having some more conversation about the culvert that keeps failing on the creek. We had talked about going to a hard surface crossing instead of a culvert there, so it doesn't wash out anymore. But I've also talked to our culvert supplier, and we kind of think if we put in a longer culvert, because it's only a 20-foot section that's in there now. We were to put in a longer culvert with a little bit larger diameter with a flared end head gate on it, it would probably eliminate all the issues we're having. So that may be a more financially feasible way, long-term to go. We're just waiting on some information from the concrete suppliers to see about blocks for a hard crossing and looking at permits and how they would prefer us to get that done.
Is that all? That's like a big soft spot up there. I mean, I don't know.
Where the culvert is?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
that big old marshy area right
That's why
above
we
it.
want to do the fence along the uphill side. The downhill side, there's already a barbed wire fence on Reader's
Mhm.
property boundary. But it's on the uphill side, we're gonna do those jackleg fences to prevent people from driving around through the creek bed if we do a hard surface. But they won't have any reason to, because we'll have a nice long gradual grade in and out. It'll be wider than what's there currently on the crossing. They'd have no reason to go around it, other than they just want to drive in the creek.
I mean, is the culvert there now? Is it down on good solid bedrock? It must be. There's probably evidence of something sinking into that.
Yeah, right. It's been pretty solid since the last time we fixed it. We haven't really had, one time I went up there was a small hole developing from wash through, but the culvert's not collapsing in or sinking in any farther.
Okay.
It's just that we get blow by on the culvert, kind of washing out the side of it.
Right.
So that's where some riprap, maybe a little bit of concrete and a flared end would help eliminate that issue.
Okay.
So the other questions that were brought up is just past that culvert, there is a, I don't know if I want to say this, a gate across the county road for cattle.
that electric fence?
No, this is up higher, up past the culvert.
There's
There's an actual gate.
There's an actual gate, and it's when they put in all the fencing, when they redid the boundary, the route for with readers and
Mhm.
20 years ago. So there's a cattle fence that runs through the Forest Service for the grazing permit. There is a gate on the road for that.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that.
Technically, is not supposed to be there.
Right,
There's one up past Turley Meadows.
oh, there's one up there too?
Yeah. That one it's a pain in the butt gate. That's a conversation we may have to address at some point. I don't know how we would get a cattle guard in there to eliminate the gate. It just may not be feasible. So unless we get a real complaint about it, I'm not gonna do anything with the gate.
It's been like that for,
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that gate, that's funny.
Now, if somebody can complain, they will.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, the lower one, we're gonna have to talk to McCauley's and let them know we can't have a T-post and a electric fence across the road. So,
Right, you gotta be able to get through there.
other than that, they're very happy with the work that's been done. They're very grateful for what's been done and what's planned and should turn out pretty well. I'm still just trying to get them to realize that this is a when we have time kind of project, so.
Are we gonna be able to spend out their, grant money?
Yeah,
So they're good.
I gotta send them some invoices, but I think everything, they're kind of handling the sign portion of it. It's been another headache, as we had conversations prior about them ordering and paying for everything, so we didn't have to be the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow it turned back to us being the middleman. So, but all the fence, all the culvert and the weed spray, we've got that all expended. I've got to send them the invoices today so that they can get them submitted to FWP. And then, I think the only thing left on the grant would be for the signage, which I'm pretty sure they're handling that. I've got to follow up on it because we're trying to get the Forest Service to give us all the designated route signs, so we don't have to spend any money on our end for that as well.
Good.
And once we
Good.
get the signage, now that we've got some maps made, we'll get a statement and public release and get that trail closure done or reroute established. So,
Sounds great.
you know, I think that's all I've got for today. I guess one other quick update. I don't remember if I mentioned last week, I met with, I might have already mentioned this, met with Helena Forest a week or two ago about the Strawberry Butte road work.
Mm.
And so
Yeah,
if I already mentioned that, yeah, they're still working on that. So,
they're trying
Yeah,
to get
getting
a
that done
permit or
would be a big
something.
deal.
yeah, they're doing some research on their end, and they're gonna have a meeting with the public and let them know this is the way it is. And there's nothing any of us can do about it, so,
Leave the county alone.
yeah, pretty much what it came out as is it's not the county's problem. So,
What did you find out about the millions on I-90? Anything?
I haven't heard, I sent emails out to the representatives with MDT and I have not heard back from them yet. So that email is a very early just comment request. You
Mhm.
usually don't get into the pre-con and who gets what until it gets closer to the project, so.
Because the reason I say is I'd heard talk with the town of Whitehall, they were talking about something if they were to get some millions. I don't know if they're referring to this or something else.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's outside of city limits, the state gets first. So contractors get X amount.
Mhm.
Or that they can have X amount, and it's usually 20 to 30%. And the state has first dibs and then the county takes second dibs. So we would get priority over the city if we wanted them.
Good to know
It's
that.
too bad for the cities, but at the same time, it's better for us.
Good for us.
We got more roads than they have.
Unlike the stuff here, like when they did Main Street, the city gets second choice on that because it's in city boundaries. So.
Thanks. Anything else for Bear? I think, I went up to Blue Sky just to talk to those gentlemen up there, kind of see what their concerns were coming down off there as far as speed. And I think the last speed limit sign coming down off there is like up past where the pavement ends. I don't know, there's no speed limit sign.
So there's one up beyond the pavement, and then there's one just shortly before the corner.
Coming down? I don't remember seeing a speed limit sign except for up. Next time you're up there, take a look. I might be wrong, but that's what sticks in my mind anyway.
I was just there last week, just looking at it again,
Oh,
see
were
if
you?
there was a way to maybe move the signs or something we could do to make them more To get people's attention better, but as you're coming down and you hit the asphalt, and I can't remember what road that is, it comes in from the right, Rock Ridge, maybe not Rock Ridge, I can't remember this road name.
Green.
Maybe not at the main intersection, but just when you hit the asphalt coming down the hill, there's another road to the right, it might be Bear Paw. But there was a speed limit sign just below that intersection. And then there's one up above that for the hill.
I don't think signs are gonna make a hell of a lot of difference, you know.
No, and I was just in Forest Park yesterday and I had a couple of people come around corners at a very high rate of speed and they were elderly women. No, not judging, just that's who they were coming around and they weren't paying attention. They were easily going 35, 40 around the corners.
Yeah, even when I was up there, the guys know who everybody is driving by. And they're like, I know that guy, he's always speeding, he's been here for 30 years and he always speeds and yeah, I don't know. But I don't know if we can put a sign up in here somewhere saying there's a unmarked intersection or something, cause.
Well, that's the one that I want to change because it is so wide. It needs
Yeah,
to
it is
be,
huge.
we need to narrow that intersection up and put in a
Well,
yield
it is-
sign
it is
and
wide. Holy
it's way past our road standards. It's doesn't meet
Yeah.
what it should be.
That big
um,
Y there.
So I want to narrow that up and put in a yield sign coming down. I think it's Greenwood to the right, isn't it? Because those are not the right road
I
names.
was like,
Right,
that's
yeah, this is Google, so
confusing.
take your guess what it is.
Or sorry, Greenwood's to the left. So yeah, coming
Oh.
down Rock Ridge. Put a yield sign right there where your cursor was.
Put a
Coming
yield
onto-
sign in here and yeah. Yeah, and they also said the kids are walking up here, getting off the bus and they gotta get off the road or they get run over.
You know,
I don't know what.
I mean, it's,
Depends how
We put a bus stop, I don't know what signs are gonna do, but
It's been that way forever.
it has
Yeah.
been, yeah, you've lived up there,
My kids walk that hill too.
yeah. But when you're in your meetings and stuff, if you see anything that can be physically done up there to narrow the road or what we need to do to get them to slow down a little bit, it seems like it's just a coast from the pavement. Where the
Yeah.
pavement starts up here, it's just straight downhill.
yeah,
I think
go up
there's
a
a
little,
drop off.
would you go up that a little more? So whatever that crossroad is right there. I guess it's Whitetail. So just downhill from that, I'm pretty sure there was a speed limit sign there.
I think it's Whitetail.
How can they all be whitetail?
It's not.
Don't trust people.
Yeah, it's Whitetail going to
not
the left
trust
from
Google.
Greenwood, but not to the right, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I think to the right was Bear Paw.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, all those road names are wrong,
Yeah,
or most all of them.
Some Whitetail Lane is right, but yeah.
Yeah. And that is Greenwood, but. So, yeah,
All
we'll
right.
look at it. Yeah, I'll try to be up there again this week, but
yeah, if you just take a look, cause my mind sticks that the last speed limit sign was up where the dirt road is and nothing on the pavement coming down off this, but I could be wrong. There might not be anything in here either, but I don't know. The speed limit sign, I don't know what it's gonna do besides help the officers maybe pull them over a little easier and say,
Well-
there's a sign right there, but.
The only solution is a community meeting, you know, and they
Yeah.
need to get all those people together and they say, your kids have got to slow down, you know, manage those kids. You
that's
know,
exactly right. 'Cause
You know,
from
that's the only thing that's gonna work.
The parents and the old
yeah,
people, everybody.
it's everybody speeding. It's not just the kids, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, that's right.
once they come into that
I didn't. I
intersection.
drove by there and I did not speed.
This last time?
I did not.
Once they pull into that intersection and they see that 25-mile-an-hour sign, we don't need another one in that subdivision because of MCA. And, no, I don't know if it's Montana or if it's federal, but the speed limit of a road, if it's not posted, is whatever the last road was connected to is set at.
Is that right?
Yeah, so the one downside of that is if we have say like Whitetail Lane, if we did not post that, or not Whitetail, but White Bridge Lane,
Mhm.
we did not post that at a slower speed, it would be 70 miles an
35,
hour because it comes off of Highway 69 and 70.
Right.
So it's whatever the last connected road was is
Uh-huh.
what the speed limit is. So because we have this 25-mile-an-hour sign, as you pull into that subdivision, that qualifies for all those roads in that subdivision. It's just a driver ignorance issue, is what it is. It's a
And we're
lack of
these guys-
respect for your neighbor and ignorance,
Exactly right.
because the same people that claim or that complain about people speeding in front of their house are the ones that are speeding past my house.
Right, yeah. Well, like I said, if you see any good ideas at your conferences or anything, to try
Yeah.
to slow, I mean, it's not just this road, it's.
Oh, no, this is
every road
countywide.
around the
Yeah,
county.
we're definitely,
We need to find solutions to get people to slow down, and I think it's gonna be something physical out there. We don't like speed bumps or speed humps or anything like that, but, yeah, I don't know what the answer
There's
is.
just a problem.
we're definitely looking. There is one, I may have mentioned this as well. I'm doing some research on a product that Dennis Wortman made me aware of. It's a radar speed limit sign, but it actually will track data. And, you can actually leave it, turn it off, so the sign's not showing anything, and people generally drive faster at that point, but it'll
Right.
still track the data.
Huh?
And so we could leave them out there and for a week or two and say,
See this, what the
in
real results.
2
are.
weeks, there was 3 people speeding, or, 2 weeks, there was 1,000 people speeding. Just give us better data
Yeah, that would
as
be
to
great.
what's actually occurring in these areas, other than. I'm not, denying what they're saying, because I've seen people speeding on the road. But sometimes you only see the bats, you see the 5 speeders a week and not the 100 other people that are doing the speed limit. And so
Right.
to just give us, everything's data driven now. If we don't have good data, we can't react appropriately, so. Just another path of spending more money, but hopefully fixing a long-term problem.
Yeah, if it's something we can move around, even if we had a speed sign, those are always handy. They helped for a while. Even the guys said that we put one up there at some point and it did help for a while, and then it kind of. They knew it was there and they just ignored it.
Yeah, you need somebody writing tickets too.
Once they realize that it's just telling them how fast they're going and not recording them and sending a video to the sheriff for a citation,
Right.
they quit worrying about it.
That's right. Last thing I had, Bear, was, we got a report for cataract bridge repairs up there. I'm assuming that's on your radar. Did you see that? It was a report from the state for their bridge inspection
Oh, I
report.
haven't honestly read through that whole report yet. I'll look at it. But
Yeah.
usually those are the bridges that they inspected.
Yep.
Not necessarily that there was any repairs needed.
Yeah, the cataract bridge one, I think it had some, suggested repairs on it.
And sometimes they're extremely minor, or non-time frame sensitive, but I'll look at that. I've got it.
Yeah.
I actually have it open on my desktop email right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't even, it was a while back. I can't remember what it was, but.
I've got it filled up, and then I got the latest request for projects from the state, and so I gotta get those filled out and sent back.
Perfect. Anything else, guys?
Just one thing, you said you were still working on a plan for Beaver Lane.
Yeah,
I'm afraid Jim Nyman will get a hold of me one of these days. Yeah.
can I still?
I know it's a real problem, but the way that
Well,
water runs down that dam.
My,
Right
I don't know how to say things without sounding like I don't care, but I do. But we've not done anything to this road in 5 years to make the water change direction.
So
So
what
the
caused
water
us to do it then?
could be some natural erosion, but I just think it was the increase in moisture that we had last spring that maybe caused some of the issue. But it's not feasible for me to run a culvert all the way from here down to here. Cause it's gonna get plugged up and being 100-foot long culvert, we won't be able to clean it.
Right?
These folks, it's coming down to his driveway. The right way to fix this is to come in and dig a ditch along the road, have a driveway culvert put in and have a spillway created out into here.
That's
But
downhill. is to the
when,
right.
I know when Dylan said when he was up there talking to him, he doesn't want a driveway culvert. So if we don't want to do what is necessary to fix the problem, I don't know really what to tell him.
No, I don't either. but-
Because, and part of the issue is these folks don't have a driveway culvert either. Hardly anybody in these subdivisions have driveway culverts. There is no good drainage. But there's enough of a ditch to here, but then it's kind of spilling across. And I don't know if maybe when they did their driveway, because it was freshly paved last summer, that created a dam and is now forcing water across.
And they They did some sprinkler repairs in that street too this summer, you know, that may have caused
Yeah,
some
they did some
problems
water
too,
line
so.
repairs, but that was
Yeah.
up at the intersection and they replaced a valve up here. Is all they did.
Is that all they did?
Yeah.
You got 100,000 or something for it, but
Yeah, maybe they did a little more, but I mean, really, the only way to really fix it right is to come in and dig an actual road ditch
right.
all the way down to the
And we talked
driveway,
about that last spring, actually.
put a culvert across his driveway and make a spillway down into the creek. The way that it should be, but yeah, it's not feasible for us to run 100 foot of culvert all the way past there.
No, I agree. Is that what he wanted? We can't keep it clean. It
No,
just- it's
But
a
40
waste of
foot
our
is a
time.
challenge. 40 is kind of our max that we can clean. Anything longer than that, it's not feasible. You have to put in downspouts along the way to be able to get in there and flush them, and it's not gonna work.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I talk to him then or?
He didn't like the answer that we gave him, so I don't know. But that's,
He never got a hold of me.
yeah, I know Dylan was out there looking at it because I was tied up and he came out and talked to him and explained that that's what we have to do is ditch it and put in a driveway culvert and. You know, that he'd be responsible for maintaining the culvert across his driveway and. He said, that's not happening. I've been here for 30 years and never needed it. I'm not doing one now, so. But
Wonder what's changed.
because
there.
even if I went in and reshaped the road to where it flowed, you know, cross sloped it back to the uphill bank and had it all run down, we're still gonna have an issue because the other driveways don't have culverts. So I mean, I'd say 90% of the driveways in both of those subdivisions don't have driveway culverts. I know you do.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. You know, really the drainage in all of our subdivisions is something that needs to be addressed, but then the county can't afford to go in and cut all new ditches and put in. all
No,
these culverts.
no, you know,
Um,
several $100 a pop, you know.
it's just another example of where we're stuck dealing with the consequences of subdivisions being approved 50 years ago before good road standards. Yeah, it's not an easy answer. I've been looking at other options, so that's one of the reasons I was up there the other day was to look at that and come up with an idea, and we're just not. I mean, there's nothing else we can see to do other than to ditch it and.
No, we can't put 100-foot culvert in it. 100-foot culvert in there.
No.
Move the water from one side of the road to the other side through a culvert, no.
Yeah.
Not that long.
That isn't dirt road, huh?
It pools in
It's
his,
gravel.
in his yard, and he got in his in his garage last spring, I think, but like Bear says, it was a unusual spring, I think, but.
Yeah, if it jumps across here without a pipe there, you're kind of
Jim
limited.
Nyman, you know Jim,
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
yeah. Chris lives across the road.
Yeah, I definitely understand all their
Chris
frustrations,
Nyman?
but
Or Chris
Rehor,
Rehor,
yeah.
oh, from the,
Yeah, he's right across the road.
oh, okay.
yeah, I definitely understand the frustrations, but we're just so limited on what we can do. That I'm not sure how else to proceed with it right now, so.
No, I'll see what comes up.
Okay,
All right, Bear, thank you very much.
sounds good.
We'll keep chipping away at all these problems.
Yeah.
And snow will be on the ground.
We'd love to complain about something new.
Who's Clint?
Have a good day.
All right, Bear.
You too, thanks. Thanks, Bear.
All right, Clint, did you need anything from the commission? We're just in between meetings right now.
Just finished our road meeting.
Have not.
That's why he was here.
Oh.